We are outside the map, and today we're venturing into a Scotland full of legends, ghosts, and landscapes that seem straight out of a storybook. Have you ever wondered what it feels like to walk across mist-covered hills, where whispers of the past still seem to echo, or stand before lakes where mysterious creatures might be lurking? Imagine the wind carrying stories that have survived for centuries, while castles and stones guard secrets waiting to be discovered. On this journey, we'll show you the magic of Scotland from a different perspective. You'll encounter mythical creatures, haunted castles, legendary islands, and places where history and myth intertwine. We'll share not only the legends, but also the sites you can visit and the stories that make Scotland's magic so tangible. Are you ready to step into the myths and magic of Scotland? Let's begin. Loch Ness, deep waters, ancient secrets. In the heart of the Scottish Highlands, surrounded by green hills and mist-covered valleys, lies Loch Ness, one of the most famous lakes in the world and a place that seems frozen in time. Stretching over 36 kilometers long and reaching depths of up to 230 meters, Ness extends like a ribbon of dark water between mountains, hiding in its shadows secrets that have fascinated explorers, scientists, and travelers for centuries. The lake impresses not only with its size, but also with its geology. Its shores are dotted with rocky formations, ancient forests, and small villages that seem lifted from the pages of a history book. Over the centuries, its waters have witnessed human settlements, and one of the most emblematic remnants of this history is Urquhart Castle. Now in ruins, this medieval castle offers panoramic views of the lake and connects directly to the rich historical and legendary narrative of the area. But of course, what truly makes Loch Ness unforgettable is its most famous legend, Nessie, the Loch Ness Monster. The first recorded sighting dates back to 565 AD, when St. Columba reportedly saw a creature emerging from the waters and saving a man from drowning. Centuries later, the 1934 surgeon's photograph ignited the world's imagination. And since then, scientific expeditions, sonar scans, and underwater cameras have attempted, without success, to confirm Nessie's existence. Today, the creature remains a mystery, a symbol of the magic and the inexplicable that surrounds these lands. For those visiting Loch Ness, the experience goes beyond the legend. The Visitor Center offers a fascinating introduction to the lake's history, geology, and Nessie investigations. Boat cruises allow travelers to admire the landscape from the water, approach small islands, and feel the immensity and silence of the deep waters. Viewpoints around the lake, from Dories to Fort Augustus, provide breathtaking perspectives, perfect for photography or simply for contemplation, letting the imagination wander as the wind brushes your face and the mist floats above the water. Walking among ancient ruins and dark water reflections, it's easy to understand why Loch Ness has captured generations' imaginations. It is a place where history intertwines with legend, where every shadow on the water could be the beginning of a story, and where the tangible and the magical coexist in the same space. From these deep and mysterious waters, we prepare to venture into enchanted lands, where castles, islands, and otherworldly landscapes continue to reveal the secrets of a truly magical Scotland. Isle of Skye, where the fairies dance at dawn. In the Inner Hebrides, the Isle of Skye stretches out like a canvas of wild landscapes, connected to mainland Scotland by an elegant bridge that seems to open the door to another world. With its rugged hills, deep fjords, and jagged coastline, Skye is not just a tourist destination, it is a place where nature seems to have sculpted its own magic. Its rock formations are unique and dramatic. The Old Man of Storr, a rock spire reaching toward the sky, and the Keerang, a labyrinth of plateaus, valleys, and cliffs, create landscapes that could belong in a myth. At sunrise, the golden light transforms the stones and the floating mist, making it easy to imagine fantastical creatures inhabiting these landscapes. Among Skye's hidden treasures are the fairy pools, crystal-clear waterfalls and pools of deep blue, known not only for their beauty, but also for their mystical significance. According to tradition, these waters were a refuge for fairies and water spirits, and locals would leave small offerings to gain their favor. Walking along the trails surrounding these pools is like stepping into a storybook. The sound of the water, the reflection of the sky, and the freshness of the surroundings awaken the senses and spark the imagination. Fairy legends are deeply rooted on the island. Celtic tales speak of fleeting encounters with these beings, nocturnal dances, and the need to respect their territory. Many visitors claim to have seen fleeting lights, dancing shadows, or to have felt an ethereal presence among the rocks and vegetation, reminding us that on Skye, magic seems to coexist with reality. Dunvegan Castle, the ancestral home of the MacLeod clan, is also steeped in mystery. It houses the legendary fairy flag, a banner said to protect the clan through supernatural means. Stories tell of spectral appearances in the castle halls, especially of ancient guardians and members of the family who once lived there. For visitors today, Skye offers unforgettable experiences. Hiking trails allow exploration of remote corners, while sunrises and sunsets provide perfect opportunities for photography. The landscapes shift with light and mist, and each walk can feel like a journey through history and legend. On Skye, nature and magic intertwine, preparing us to continue exploring Scotland, where echoes of the past and the supernatural await on every hill and in every valley. Culloden Battlefield, echoes of a lost battle. A few kilometers east of Inverness lie the open moorlands of Culloden, a landscape that seems peaceful today, but bears the scars of the last battle fought on British soil in 1746. It was here that the Jacobite armies, defenders of Prince Charles Edward Stuart's cause, clashed with government forces, marking the end of Highland culture as it was known and leaving an indelible legacy of courage and tragedy. The battlefield, carefully preserved, allows visitors to walk among memorials and stones dedicated to different clans, each telling the story of men and women who fought and died on this land. The vastness of the moors and the calm of the wind create an almost surreal feeling, as if time has paused to honor the fallen. Culloden is also a place where supernatural tales emerge from the mist. Many visitors report feeling spectral presences, hearing the echoes of drums and screams, or even glimpsing figures that seem to move across the hills. Paranormal investigations have documented unusual phenomena, reinforcing the idea that the memory of the Jacobites still inhabits this land. The Culloden Visitor Center offers an immersive experience that helps visitors better understand the historical and human context of the battle. Through interactive technology, original artifacts, and audiovisual recreations, visitors can trace the timeline of events, learn about the weapons and strategies used, and feel the intensity of that tragic day from a close and educational perspective. Visiting Culloden is, above all, a journey into the past and memory. Walking across the moors while taking in the horizon connects you to the generations who lived and died here, a reminder of the cost of war and the power of living history in Scotland. Every stone, every breeze seems to whisper stories of courage, loss, and resilience, leaving travelers with a profound sense of respect and awe for the magnitude of that moment. From the echoes of Culloden, we prepare to cross centuries and legends towards Scotland's haunted castles and royal spirits, where history and the supernatural intertwine in new and captivating ways. If these stories of mysterious lakes, dancing fairies, and battlefields echoing with the past have fascinated you, imagine all that still awaits to be discovered in Scotland. Subscribe to continue exploring places where history and beauty meet. And join us as we reveal secrets, castles, and landscapes that are still waiting to be uncovered. Because Scotland holds even deeper secrets. Stirling Castle crowns conspiracies and apparitions. In the heart of Scotland, Stirling Castle rises majestically atop a strategic hill, known as the Gateway to the Highlands, due to its key position in the country's military and political history. From here, trade routes were controlled, borders defended, and decisive battles planned, making the castle a silent witness to centuries of power and conflict. The architecture of Stirling Castle reflects its importance: imposing walls, defensive towers, and royal halls where coronations and ceremonies shaped the fate of Scotland. The stories of kings, warriors, and nobles who walked these corridors still feel alive, leaving an indelible mark on the nation's history. Among them, Mary, Queen of Scots, stands out. She spent much of her childhood here, and her years at Stirling were marked by a mixture of splendor and tragedy, shaping the life of one of Scotland's most emblematic monarchs. But Stirling Castle is not only tangible history, it is also a hub of paranormal phenomena. The Pink Lady, a female spirit who appears in various parts of the castle, has been witnessed by numerous guards and visitors. She is described as an elegant, melancholic presence, often accompanied by a subtle fragrance or the feeling of being watched. Paranormal investigations have documented unexplained appearances and sounds, reinforcing the legend surrounding this mysterious figure. She is not the only presence at Stirling. Reports include ghostly soldiers patrolling the halls, armed and alert, as well as spectral children playing near the rooms and courtyards, adding both an eerie and fascinating dimension to the visit. For those visiting the castle, the experience changes depending on the time of day. Daytime tours allow exploration of halls, walls, and panoramic views of the valley, capturing the grandeur of the fortress and its surroundings. At night, specialized tours offer a more intimate and mysterious journey, ideal for those seeking to feel the presence of living history, and perhaps the spirits that still inhabit Stirling. Visiting Stirling Castle is stepping into a place where crowns and conspiracies intertwine with apparitions and hidden secrets. A must-see destination for anyone wanting to understand Scotland in all its historical and mystical richness. Hermitage Castle, the cursed castle of the borders. In the Scottish borders, surrounded by lonely moorlands and roads that seem to disappear into the mist, lies Hermitage Castle, a place whose very silhouette commands respect. Its remote location, difficult to reach, enhances the sense of isolation and mystery, as if time itself has stopped around its stone walls. The ruins of Hermitage Castle are imposing and formidable. Its architecture reflects a brutal defensive design. Thick walls, towering keeps, and narrow passageways make it clear that this fortress was built to withstand any attack. The air here is severe, and it's easy to imagine the tension of those who lived here during times of border wars and conspiracies. Among its darkest legends is that of Lord Soulis and his alleged demonic pact. According to medieval accounts, Soulis supposedly called upon dark forces to maintain control over his lands and enemies, performing rituals that enraged the local population. It is said he was captured and executed by popular justice, yet his spirit, shrouded in darkness and mystery, continues to haunt the castle. He is not the only reported ghost. The Lady of Hermitage, a mourning female spirit, appears among the ruins, and medieval soldiers have been seen patrolling the stone corridors as if still following orders from centuries past. The combination of history, legend, and unexplained phenomena makes Hermitage Castle one of the most haunted places in Scotland. The atmosphere of the castle is unique. Isolation, the constant wind sweeping through the walls, and the oppressive feeling that dominates the surroundings create an experience that awakens all the senses. Walking through Hermitage is to feel the presence of centuries of conflict, human tragedy, and secrets that the castle has guarded jealously. For adventurous visitors willing to make the journey, the challenging access is more than rewarded. The views from the ruins, the landscapes of the borders, and the opportunity to explore a castle steeped in history and mystery make every step worthwhile. Hermitage Castle is not just a visit, it is an encounter with the dark, the ancient, and the fascinating side of Scotland. Callanish Standing Stones, the Observatory of the Ancients. On the Isle of Lewis in the Outer Hebrides stands a stone circle that has defied time for over 5,000 years, the Callanish Standing Stones. This Neolithic complex is not only an archaeological wonder, but also a place where history, astronomy, and legend intertwine in a fascinating way. Its carefully aligned layout with the movements of the sun and moon demonstrates astonishing astronomical precision, still leaving archaeologists and visitors alike in awe today. It is believed that the original purpose of the stones was multifaceted: to serve as a lunar calendar, a site for druidic rituals, and a point for observing the skies, connecting those who erected them with the cosmos and the cycles of nature. Walking among these stones allows one to feel the energy of those who lived millennia ago, dedicating time and effort to build a link between the earth and the heavens. Local legends add a magical dimension to this already impressive site. One of the most famous stories tells of giants turned to stone by Saint Kieran, an act of punishment and protection. According to tradition, the stones preserve the essence of these ancient beings, and rituals performed here were said to be so powerful that echoes of the supernatural can still be felt today. Even in modern times, visitors report strange phenomena: lights that seem to dance among the stones, sensations of invisible presences, or an inexplicable feeling of connection with something ancient. These accounts reinforce the idea that Callanish is not just a monument, but a place where the tangible and the spiritual meet. The visitor route allows one to appreciate the majesty of the site from different angles. Sunrises and sunsets offer magical moments, when golden light illuminates the stones and casts shadows that seem to come to life. The Interpretation Center complements the visit, providing information about the history, archaeology, and legends associated with the site, enriching the experience without diminishing its mystery. For those seeking a spiritual connection, Callanish invites meditation, contemplative photography, and respect for ancestral heritage. Walking among the stones is a journey through time, an opportunity to feel the presence of the ancients and understand that some of Scotland's secrets are not revealed immediately. They wait to be experienced with attention and awe. Edinburgh Old Town, the capital of ghosts. In the heart of Edinburgh, the Royal Mile connects squares, alleyways, and buildings that have witnessed centuries of history. The Old Town preserves its medieval architecture, with narrow streets, mysterious closes, and underground passages that seem to transport you to another era. One of the most emblematic sites is Greyfriars Kirkyard, considered the most haunted cemetery in Scotland. Here lie historic graves and local legends, including the story of Bobby, the loyal dog who watched over his owner's grave for years. But not all is heartwarming. This cemetery is also home to the infamous Mackenzie poltergeist, a spirit linked to physical attacks and unexplained phenomena. From pushes to objects moving on their own, paranormal investigations have documented consistent activity, making the site a landmark for mystery enthusiasts. The Old Town is dotted with other haunted sites worth exploring. Real Mary King's Close, an underground labyrinth, reveals how former residents lived and preserves the atmosphere of their tragedies. Edinburgh Castle, towering above the city, is the setting of ghostly soldier tales, and the Grassmarket area holds stories of executions and spirits that still seem to roam its streets. For those seeking the full experience, night tours are a must. Guided by experts, visitors wander through alleyways and hidden corners, while hearing stories of crime, betrayal, and apparitions. The combination of dim lighting, nighttime sounds, and medieval architecture creates an immersive, almost cinematic atmosphere, allowing visitors to feel the city in its most mysterious dimension. The contrast between day and night in Edinburgh is fascinating. By day, the city buzzes with tourists, markets, and cafes, showcasing its historical and cultural character. By night, the alleyways transform, and the capital becomes a stage where history and the paranormal intertwine, evoking emotions that range from curiosity to chills. Glen Coe, the Valley of Laments. In the West Highlands, Glen Coe stretches as a mountain pass that blends natural beauty with historical tragedy. This valley, surrounded by towering peaks and deep hollows, has been the stage for stories that still echo among its rocks and rivers. Its dramatic location makes it impressive from the very first moment. Here, nature feels giant, immutable, and at the same time profoundly human in its ability to inspire awe. The geology of Glen Coe is spectacular. The remnants of ancient volcanoes have shaped unique landscapes, highlighted by formations such as the Three Sisters and Bocail Etive Mor, mountains rising like guardians of the valley. The interplay of light and shadow on these peaks creates a dramatic scene that has captured the imagination of filmmakers worldwide, from epic movies to historical series. But the majesty of the place is intertwined with a dark history: the massacre of 1692. The MacDonald clans, trusting in the hospitality promised by the Campbells, were betrayed and attacked on these lands. 38 men, women, and children lost their lives. Since then, it is said that the spirits of the valley remain, and that nocturnal wails, apparitions of the MacDonalds, and unexplained phenomena still traverse the glens, echoing the betrayal and sorrow of that day. Glen Coe is not only a place of history and legend, but also a world-renowned cinematic landscape. Its dramatic and ever-changing scenery, with clouds curling around peaks and rivers cutting through the valley, provides otherworldly imagery, perfect for photography, film, and quiet contemplation. Today, visitors can explore Glen Coe via hiking trails leading to spectacular viewpoints, climbs that test strength and endurance, or simple walks to admire the grandeur of nature. Scotland is a place where reality and myth intertwine. This land reminds us that history, legend, and nature coexist in a unique way, creating experiences that awaken the imagination and touch the heart. Every traveler finds their own magic in Scotland. Perhaps it is the feeling of walking among ancient stones at Callanish, or hearing the wind whisper secrets at Hermitage Castle. Perhaps it is the thrill of wandering the Royal Mile as night falls, or the quiet contemplation before the peaks of Skye. The invitation is to experience these places mindfully, letting each story and landscape leave a personal mark. When planning your visit, remember that the best time to explore Scotland is usually between May and September, when the days are long, nature is at its fullest, and trails are more accessible. But beyond logistics, prepare yourself mentally to be enveloped by the mystery, history, and magic that make each place an unforgettable experience. And although today we have explored some of Scotland's most emblematic and mystical sites, if you want to continue discovering stories and places, click on the next video that appears and continue this journey with us.